New Orleans is located in southeastern Louisiana on both sides of the Mississippi River. New Orleans was originally settled on the natural levees or high ground along the Mississippi River. After the Flood Control Act of 1965, the United States Army Corps of Engineers built flood walls and man-made levees around a much larger geographic footprint that included previous marshland and swamp. The climate in the city of New Orleans is humid, subtropical, with short, generally mild winters and hot, humid summers. The average amount of rain is 64 inches, and the most rain usually occurs during the summer months. October has proven to be the driest month for New Orleans. Precipitation in winter usually accompanies the passing of a cold front, and snow rarely occurs. Hurricanes are an extremely severe threat to the city because of the city's low elevation, and it is surrounded by water from the north, east, and the south. New Orleans currently has an average elevation of 1 to 2 feet below sea level. According to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, New Orleans is the most vulnerable city in the nation for hurricanes. New Orleans has always had to consider the risks of hurricanes, but the risks are dramatically greater today due to the coastal erosion from human interference. Since the beginning of the 20th century, it has been estimated that Louisiana has lost 2,000 square miles of coast, which once protected New Orleans against storm surge. The city's vulnerability to hurricanes proved to be correct when the most devastating hurricane hit the city in August of 2005. Hurricane Katrina formed over the Bahamas on August 23rd as a moderate Category 1 hurricane before traveling to New Orleans as a Category 5 hurricane. Katrina had the biggest impact on the city of New Orleans. 1,836 people died, and the estimated total property damage was $81 billion, making it one of the most deadly and the costliest hurricane ever recorded in the United States. 80% of New Orleans became flooded and was flooded for many weeks after the hurricane. The worst property damage occurred in the coastal areas where 90% of the land was flooded. The main reason for all of the flooding was due to the failure of the levee systems in place that were meant to stop excessive flooding. Katrina's storm surge led to 53 levee breaches in the federally built levee system protecting Metro New Orleans and the failure of the 40 Arpent Canal levee. Nearly every levee in Metro New Orleans was breached as Hurricane Katrina passed just east of the city limits. The levee breaches were the main reason for the majority of the deaths that occurred. A report by the American Society of Civil Engineers says that had the levees and flood walls not failed and the pump stations operated, nearly 2/3 of the deaths would not have occurred. Hurricane Katrina is one of the most tragic natural disasters and greatly changed the lives of the people of New Orleans.